So I'm going to start off with my first design. It's just going to be a simple pot. You can use any pot, any size. I'm just going to be making a framework with tape. Just going to start off by creating a little checkerboard, if you like, on top of the vase. So I'm just making a few lines into the vase like that. Very simple, very quick and cheap to do.
Fingers, not scissors, hey?
Absolutely. This tape that I'm using at the moment is a nice pot tape, so it's very good for holding Oasis into dishes. Yeah, I managed to get my hands on the thin one, which is nice, gives you more room to play with in the Oasis dish itself. And as you can see, I've just created a little crisscross there. I'm just going to reinforce it by putting a little ring around the edge. There we go. So the flowers that I'm going to be using are just the ones that are behind me. So I've got some lovely statice here. I've got a nice purple. I'm going to use some of the solidago here. Again, this will open up to a nice bright yellow flower. This is lovely because it's lovely and spring-like and quite nice. So I'm just going to start by deciding what kind of height I want to choose. So let's see. And it just sits into the vase like that, being held up by the tape. Let me get another one here for you. So just like that, it sits in there quite nicely. And you can quite easily create your shape. You can go for something quite tall, you can go for something quite low, depending on the pot of the vase that you're using. So I'm going to use all of the stem of this. Like I say, I'm not using any foliage today because whether you're buying flowers from a florist such as my shop or even the supermarket, you don't always want to spend that extra money getting the foliage. So imagining that you're getting your flowers straight out of the plastic wrap from the supermarket, let's say, you might only have a few stems of foliage, so you've got to make the most of what you've got. So I'm keeping a lot of the leaves on my flowers and turning it around. I can just see that I'm just filling it out nicely, keeping a nice shape all around. Trying to keep the same height. Okay, so now I've started with the solidago because it's a nice filler flower. So it's nice and bushy, it creates that shape nice and easily. Now I can start filling in with some of the other flowers, such as the statice. So I know this is going to look nice and bright, the purple against the yellow, and it just sits in very nice and easily. And this is a great option if you just want to make that bunch of flowers look nice at home, on the dining table, something like that. But it's also something that I do for weddings and events, parties, because it's quick, it's easy, it's cheap, and it means that I'm not using any Oasis foam. A lot of people these days are moving away from using foam on their weddings for environmental reasons. So I think it's good that we can have options available to us like this that we can easily do. And you know, we could leave that as it is. That's quite nice and simple. But I think a little bit of this skimmia, a little bit of red, just to show up in here as well would be nice. One of the things that I like to do when I'm flower arranging is using the colour wheel as a guideline. So looking at what colours work well together, and even sometimes what colours to avoid. you might think that a couple of colours might look nice together, but if you can look at the colour wheel and see maybe this kind of shade of red doesn't go well with this, but maybe more of a darker, slightly plum-like shade like this skimmier would work well. A bright red carnation wouldn't work in this one, for example, because it would be too many bright clashing colours, whereas just the skimmier is darker and it just adds an extra element without subtracting away from any of the other colours. So that was quick and easy, and it looks quite nice all the way around. It's nice, got a nice shape, and it's easy to move stuff around. If you don't like something in a position, you can always just take it out, put it back somewhere else, add more, take stuff out. So it's great. There we go. So here's the first arrangement, nice and simple. It was almost as simple as just chucking it in, because all you have to worry about is the shape of the flowers. If it helps, I find that sometimes just cutting all of my stems at the beginning, cut them all to the same length that you know that you're going to use. So say, cut all the stems about that length, cut all of them all at once, have them here, and then you can just chuck them in and go. And like I said, the great thing about that is also that if I don't like anything together, maybe something's too close to something else, maybe there's not enough colour somewhere else, so you can move stuff around, so you've got a nice even spread of the colours, and every time you turn it round, it's got nice even coverage. So that I would be happy to sell, whether it was for a party or a wedding or something like that. And that's my first one. So this is what I call just a tape frame. This is thank you.